was laid off recently, and one of the first actions I took was interview prep, since I hadn't interviewed in a while. And the topic I wanted to know the most was, what are the commonly asked product marketing interview questions? And I went on product school and I found a giant list of product marketing questions, and I made sure to go through each question and make sure I had an answer in case the question was asked in an interview. And I was disappointed to find out that in all my interviews since then, I haven't been asked a single question from that list. So that exercise was a complete waste of time. And the more I dug into the subject, I realized how hard it is to find an accurate list of commonly asked product marketing interview questions. And I think that's because the lists are created by people who just haven't interviewed in a while. So that's why I decided to make this video. I'm not a product marketing career coach, and I don't want to be one, but I know how frustrating it can be if you haven't interviewed in a while and you have a lack of good resources. And funnily enough, the only viral post I've ever had on LinkedIn was a post about me bombing an interview. So I have been there, and I like to help others avoid the situation if I can. And I've been on dozens of interviews since, and I recorded each time I've been asked questions. So all these questions on this list, I've been asked personally numerous times. And I've also tested a few different answer styles and made note of which ones are the most successful. So without further ado, here are the top 10 most commonly asked product marketing interview questions and my advice on how best to answer them. So question 1 is, tell me about your background. This is the generic tell me about your background and story, and no duh, right? But this is literally asked in almost every product marketing interview I've been in, so I have to include it. And my advice for this one as a product marketer is to tell an actual story. I've seen a lot of bad advice online on how to answer this question of, I'm Jim. I have 10 years of B2B SaaS experience covering various industries, but that is likely to put the hiring manager to sleep. You are a product marketer. What are product marketers supposed to do? Tell a story. So showcase that. For me, coming from sales, I like to talk about why I started my career in sales, what skills I picked up that I'd use in my future product marketing career, and what drove me to end up in product marketing. Once I talk about my product marketing experience, I talk about the major challenges I faced, how I overcame them, and then I'll go into my major accomplishments. And finally wrap up with why we're talking here today. This storytelling format will keep the hiring manager engaged. Just make sure to tailor your story slightly with each interview to make sure the story and the experience you highlight aligns with the needs of the job. For question 2, which launch are you most proud of? And I wouldn't necessarily answer with the true answer of which launch you're most personally proud of. I would pick an example that correlates back to the needs of the job. Try to think about a launch you've been a part of that is most similar to the types of launches you would be running in this new job. If they're a PLG organization, don't talk about an SLG launch unless that's your only experience. If they're a startup, try to talk about a launch at a smaller organization where you had to wear many hats and things were a little bit chaotic. This will show the hiring manager that you have the experience and success running the types of launches that this role requires. For question 3, walk me through your launch process. This question is really a demonstration of knowledge. The hiring manager wants to know if you have the deep understanding of all the steps it takes to have a successful launch. So I would spend a little bit of time before the interviewing researching launch flows and steps and the latest product marketing launch tactics. There's plenty of free resources out there on the Product Marketing Alliance, LinkedIn, podcasts, etc. And remember to tailor your answers to the type of launches that they're looking for. A PLG launch is going to look differently than an SLG. A B2B launch is going to look differently than a B2C. So adjust your answer to the type of fit that they're looking for. For question 4, tell me about a time you had a disagreement with a coworker. So this is a conflict resolution question. Working well with others and being able to achieve alignment is a key part of the product marketing function. So pick a story that demonstrates a little bit of tact. I always like to show my knowledge in psychology and negotiation, so go over your beliefs and how to work best with others. And if you want to learn a little bit more about alignment, I have 2 alignment videos on my YouTube channel. For question 5, what metrics do you use to measure success post-launch? This is a great question because there's a million different ways to answer. For me personally, I think website traffic, leads generated, and product adoption are good marketing metrics. But beyond that, there's an internal component as well. Does sales find the enablement materials helpful, and is it resonating? Is marketing equipped with enough knowledge to launch their own campaigns? So there's another component here that's harder to measure, but equally as important. For question 6, talk about another company whose marketing you admire. This question is trying to gauge your knowledge and curiosity of the industry. So don't go with the generic Apple or Spotify answer. Give them an answer that they haven't heard before. If you need ideas, there's Ready to Launch podcast, where they review product launches and list their favorites. This would be a great place to start and should give you some ideas. For question 7, what value do you think product marketing brings to an organization? A philosophy question, which makes this one a little bit trickier. I like to go into an answer something along the lines of product marketing serving as a strategic function that bridges together multiple departments and ultimately drives product success. For question 8, what would be your initial actions if you were hired? So the hiring manager wants to paint an image of what your first steps would be if you got the job. If you haven't checked it out already, I recommend First 90 Days as a book to give you some pretty good ideas on how to be successful when you're new to an organization. But there's many ways to answer this question, but all answers should include a basic story of coming in, soaking up as much knowledge as possible, meeting with sales, marketing, product to gauge the current situation, analyze current product marketing efforts and finding areas for improvement. And then by the end of your 60 and 90 days, you're making meaningful contributions. For question 9, how do you conduct competitive research? It's odd how often this question is asked. And I think it's because a lot of companies struggle with competitive research and don't know the best practices for conducting and using the competitive learnings. So I would recommend learning a little bit about competitive intelligence tactics and common tools. I would also go into how you would use that competitive research to enable sales, create battle cards, and bringing back to product to help guide product roadmap decisions. For question 10, what are you looking for in your next role? Like question 1, this question is asked in almost every interview. You want to be honest about what you're looking for, but try to sprinkle in pieces of information that relate to the role. So if you're applying for a startup, talk about how you want to work for a fast-paced environment where you wear many hats and have a lot of autonomy. The hiring manager is trying to determine how much of a fit you would actually be. So try to point out those similarities between the job description and your personal motivations. So that's a wrap. And remember, these questions are just based on my personal experiences, so please prepare for more than just these questions. The key to a good product marketing interview is to showcase your skills and show that you're a strategic thinker. So that's all. If you like, please like and subscribe to the Product Marketing Chronicles YouTube channel. Bye for now.